Hey everybody, welcome back to the Shell Shack. It has been a bit of time since we've been out in the Shell Shack, or at least I've been out here, but you guys haven't been with me. So I thought for today's project, what we would do is I got tons of different scrapbook papers. And so I went through my scrapbook papers and I needed another set of coasters. And so let me get set up and I will show you what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing coasters, but let me show you what's going in them. All right, so make sure we're in frame here. All right, so what I did is I have these ocean scrapbook papers. I have different kinds, but so I went through them and I've already sorted these so I know like how many copies of each one I have. So these are all just different kind of rustic papers. I have a ton of different kinds of these too, but I chose for this project, I chose these. So I got my papers out of this particular collection, and I'm going to put these back. All right, and so I picked out these particular papers. So I have 2 of each, and they're going to be a set of 4 coasters, but they're going to kind of, they're going to be 2 of each pattern. But then the wood part of this and the colors is what's going to bring these things together. So these are going to sit in here, like kind of like that. And then I got all these different, so from Temu, I ordered this whole box, and it's all full of like this is real wood. These are all laminate pieces. I don't want to bend them too much and show you because they're actual wood. So let me see. So they're all different colors and wood types and all that. So I picked out some really pretty natural wood, and I cut little pieces to size to fit into these coasters. So I cut them, and I figured I wouldn't take you all through that because can be kind of a long process, but if you want to see that process, just leave me a comment and I'll take you completely through it. I just didn't want to bore you guys to death and have a super long video. So that's kind of what the idea for these coasters are. Now what I need to do first though is I need to pour a thin layer of resin so that we have something to attach these papers to. So I'm going to do a marble of these 2 colors, and that kind of goes with the wood. So let me get some resin mixed up and I'll be right back. BRB. Right, okay, so we have our resin mixed, and I don't know if you could tell, but we are using today the Let's Resin 4-hour fast cure, because we're not pouring very deep, and we just kind of want to get this step done so that we can move on and do funner things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into 2 different cups, for each color, so we can get kind of a marbling effect. And I don't like mixing micas into these silicone cups because sometimes they can be hard to get out. So we're going to pour 40 mils in each cup. I did a total of 80 mils on this. I believe, you know, that'll be pretty close to what we need. Oh, a little bit more. And when I mix into these little cups like this, I don't like putting my mica powder in first because sometimes it'll get stuck at the bottom and you just can't get it off, and it'll just like, you know, cake off as you're pouring out. So I just prefer to put my mica powders in at the top and then mix slowly so I don't get that poof of powder that tends to come out. So I got doing equal parts of each color. So we're going to do a scoop of this bronzish color. This is Ancient Copper by Small Tongue Micas. It's Ancient Copper, and same brand, Small Tongue. We're doing light gold in the other one, and I picked these arbitrarily. I mean, to me they kind of match the wood I'm using. Okay, So we got equal parts, just kind of. And what I'm going to do is I'm not super worried about bubbles because, and I'm not like purposely mixing bubbles in here, but I'm not super worried because for one, we're mixing it into mica. These are, like I said, it's going to be the bottom, and we're going to basically, we'll take a flame to them and then a little spritz of alcohol when we're done with the flame. So there, there. Some windy weavy pattern thing going on here. This one seems to, it got shorted a little bit. Windy weavy pattern, like spooky scary skeletons. And I don't over scrape this other cup over here. I'm not going to over scrape it. It is one of the wax paper cups. You don't want to over scrape those, because if you do, sometimes you can actually scrape the wax out, and that wax will end up in your piece. So we don't want to do that. But this is a plastic cup. This one's not paper. It's just plastic. And just kind of lightly scrape. Just not enough to scrape up that wax. That's the main thing. And it seems like my pouring was partial to these bottom ones. The top ones don't seem as thick. So we're going to try to even that out. Just using my stick to go to the edge here. The 90 degrees in every mold is what's going to want to hold bubbles. So we don't want bubbles on the edges. So I'm just going to run my stick along those edges. This also lets me kind of smooth this out. I'm still trying to decide what we're going to do with the this particular mold set comes with the holder with the little wood block, so it keeps it all nice and straight. So I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to do with that. If I just use these two colors, or do we want to maybe, I don't know, maybe do something with some wood in the holder itself. We'll think of something cool. Swirl that a little bit, go along the edges. Yeah, bubbles like congregating at 90 degrees, or if your mold has a lot of detail, you know. Bubbles love these 90-degree points. And on a coaster, it's real important not to get the bubbles in those 90 degrees, because that's going to be the edge of the coaster. So you don't want, like, the edges of your coaster have those bubbles, because then you'll get voids, and that's not good. Okay, I'm just cleaning off my stick here and putting that to the side. And now let's see, now we're gonna need long net lighter, and we're gonna pop some of these surface bubbles, and I'm gonna baby, oops, yep, I dipped it. Oops, we don't want to dip our lighters. Don't dip your lighters in the resin, folks. This doesn't have like a, it is on, yeah, that's small flame. Oops, I don't know. It has like a thing where you can go small flame or big flame, and to me they look the same. So let's see, just hunting down. Oh, and in coasters, it's really easy to do this. So I don't know if you guys can see this from where you are, but like right here, I have a little bit of unmixed resin or unmixed mica. You can just stir it in like that, because that you also don't want unmixed mica in your piece either, because if there's enough of it, it will leave a void. And you don't want voids. Yeah, pigment powder or pigment paste does the same thing. Pigment paste is really bad because it's all liquid. You don't know. And if you have unmixed pigment, it's going to leave a void in your resin because it's not going to cure. It's going to settle to the bottom. It won't cure. And then you'll have to actually clean it out and then maybe fill it with UV resin or do something like that. And in some molds, you can't, it's hard to really do that and get the right shape, like especially animal molds or something, or specialty molds, you know. It's hard to get that, the shape where it left the void, so you don't want that. And I still see some, but I think what we're going to do at this point is we're going to spritz it with some alcohol and let these micro bubbles dissipate. And then we'll come back after this alcohol has after it's dissipated, we'll come back and check these and see if there's any more surface bubbles we need to pop. So at this point, guys, for me it's going to be a few hours. For you guys it's going to be like 2 seconds. All right, so we're back. What I've done is I've put our little coasters, and our coasters are, by the way, let me use this stick. Our coasters are still just sticky tacky. They're not fully cured. So what we're doing is we're putting our paper in, and what I did on these, so you notice I didn't put any Mod Podge or any kind of coating or anything on these. What I did is a wet test to see what this paper looks like wet, and it really didn't, it darkened it a little bit, but it didn't really change very much. So I was like, why are we going to go through all that and then to have it be blotchy versus just, you know. So with this particular design, it did not need to be done in the Mod Podge. So what I'm doing is I'm laying this in on one side, okay, and then working my way over to the other. And then I'm taking a clean stick and just very lightly going over it. I don't want to push too much. This resin is still tacky enough that if I pushed on it too much, it would bury the paper and it would not look good. So again, just starting on one side, and then I'm just kind of rolling it down, and then take the stick and just do this. So now this is ready for the next layer. Go that route. So what I've done is I've mixed up another, I think I did 60 mils this time, and I'm just going to give it another quick stir. I've already put this through the vacuum chamber, so I'm not stirring vigorously at all. Okay. And I'm just gonna making sure, scraping my sides, making sure that this is completely mixed, and try not to introduce a bunch of bubbles, because this part, now it matters. Bubbles matter at this point. This will be seen. So we don't want, when we look down, we want to see our design on the paper, not bubbles. So just giving it a light stir. And like I said, I've already mixed this. I'm just kind of, after going through the debubbler, or, you know, the vacuum chamber, I just want to make sure. And I do have some small bubbles in there, but I think we'll be able to work those out. And I'm just going to do a light coating over there. Now this rack that these are sitting on is the rack for the Resiners curing machine, which when we get this stage done, these are going to go onto the Resiners curing machine. Okay. Now this is where very gingerly I'm going to push this resin to the edge. You can see how the paper is darkening from being wet. And for this particular design, that is okay. I don't mind. I'm trying not to push on this. All I'm doing is putting the stick in here just enough to be able to move the resin, but I'm not even hardly touching the paper below it. Again, that's so we don't dip the paper down into that colored resin below, because it's still very sticky. But I want to make sure all this gets coated really well. Since we're covering this layer with another layer, I'm going to go ahead and spritz this with some alcohol to get off some more of those bubbles. And it's on this tray, so this is going to go into the curing machine. So let me go get it in there, because I gotta have two hands so I don't tilt this too much. Okay, we're sitting in our resiners curing machine, and then you have your lid, which also is nice because it keeps dust out of here. I always have a lot of dust out here no matter what I do. And then you hit on, and that's it. All right guys, so we're back. It hasn't been quite 2 hours, but I checked it, and two things I noticed. One, I had another bubble crop up on me, so that's awesome. Two, I had a little bit of the bottom resin that, remember I told you it was tacky on our last step, so I had a little bit of this bottom resin decide to creep up and show its ugly head. So you know, that's what I get for putting it in the curing machine. However, I think it's maybe been an hour and I can already touch the surface. So we're beyond tacky. We are definitely in the phase where we can attach our wood pieces. So I'm just going to lay these out, and I'm trying to decide what's the best attachment. It's going to go in like this. So what's the best way to attach these? I have a couple of options. I can use, I have Elmer's clear glue, and I have tacky glue. So I think what I'm going to do is use my tacky glue. mixed up about 140 mils of resin, and I split it up into these 3 cups. I'm going to keep this one clear. And these two are going to get our white pigment. I'm using the Let's Resin Ocean White. So this is going to get our white pigment. And just need a drippy drop, drip or drop. And then this one is going to get the gold. And I need a smaller stirring stick for these little tiny cups. So we're going to do some gold. Okay. Let's get this mixed. And I've already put this through the vacuum chamber, and like a dum-dum, I should have mixed the pigment and the mica powder in first. But you know, it's just been one of those kind of days. And I put our little coasters off to the side so that glue could fully dry. I don't want any threat of water-based glue being underneath that wood in case there's a reaction or something. So I'm letting those fully dry while we're doing the base here. And so we'll just let that sit there, see if any mica powder comes to the top, or and let the bubbles kind of do their thing. And then let's get our white mixed. Now versus other white pigments, because I've used Cast and Craft, I've used like an off-brand Temu version of white pigment. This is probably the strongest and best white pigment I've ever seen, ever used. This stuff is awesome. It makes great waves for beach scenes, which we'll be doing some of. So a little prelude to our next video is we're going to be doing a big project. I have a very large Florida state shape mold. And I think I got it through Molds and Shapes, but I'll see before our next video. And then I have also a dolphin mold that I've made. So we're going to be making some large dolphins, and a large dolphin and a large Florida state one, all in the beachy colors and beachy things, because even though it is going into August, I still refuse to let go of summer. And the Florida heat sure hasn't forgotten that it's summer, so we're just going to go with that and make us some beachy things. Right now, actually, our water in the Gulf is so warm that, like, I wouldn't even recommend swimming in it, because there's a lot of jellyfish because of how warm the waters are off the Gulf. So, okay, that looks good. And I'm wiping my stick with a paper towel in between so I don't contaminate my colors. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to spritz this with alcohol. This is, by the way, I use 99% alcohol. If you use like a lower grade or a lower percentage alcohol, you can use like 70% or 90%. You can use that for cleaning, but I would not recommend using lower percentage alcohols for actually on your pieces, because 99% actually will fully evaporate, whereas the other ones might have some additives or oils or whatever in them that can give you a little bit of grief. So definitely stick with the 99% if you're going to be using them actually on your pieces and stuff. So I'm going to spritz this, because remember, 90-degree angles loves bubbles. So we'll do that, and I think what I'm going to do is just kind of go at random here. Okay. Try to get like a marbling effect going here. And some clear. So what I've found with marbling, this has been my own experience, and I'm still trying to learn and get better at it. But what I've found is that when you're trying to marble something, if you have like 2 mica powders, they don't they won't marble very much. You'll get different effects out of different mica powders or using 2 different colors of mica powders, but you won't necessarily get good marbling. Or if you use 2 pigment pastes, you won't get good marbling. Like marbling really comes from using 2 different kind of color media. That's where I found anyway that the marbling effect really does work really well. So as you see, I'm just doing zigzags around this in different patterns, and then like a little bit of clear, and then let's do our clear. Yeah, so if you want to get a good marble effect and you want to have like multiple colors, do like 1 transparent, you know, which would be equivalent to a clear. Do 1 in mica powder, and then do 1 in a opaque pigment paste, and change it up like that. And then I think the marbling effects come out. They're more distinctive, like they don't blend as much, and you get more of an actual marble pattern. White. Oh, then it was clear. My plan with the rest of this clear is to put it actually for our coasters themselves. So I'm almost to the top here, and I do want to slightly dome this. You know, all resins, or most resins, they do shrink and that's what gives you the blooms. That's what gives you some of the different effects that you can get. They shrink, and if you don't do like a doming coat on your pieces, you're going to get that sharp edge around the edge, because you know I can't English evidently today, but you're going to get that sharp edge, which you'll have to trim, and then you'll have to clean it up, and then you'll have to still make it look pretty somehow. So to avoid that, if you dome it, as the resin cures, it brings it kind of back in a little bit, and then it gives you a nice even coat on the top. So we're just going to slightly dome these, and I'm going to be doing some extras, which I will surprise you all on demold, because I don't even know what I'm doing yet. So I'm going to surprise myself. So I have a little bit of gold, I have a little bit of white left, and we'll find something fun to put those in. And I'm making a ginormous mess. Oh, you guys like my new this silicone mat? This mat covers my entire desk. I am loving this thing. Like I cover everything. I'm able to keep everything so much cleaner. I don't have to scrape my glass top table as often. It is awesome. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is the bubbles are so small that I'm just gonna spritz with my alcohol. Since this is the back, the underneath side, we don't need to worry about that. I'm just gonna set that off to the side and get it out of the way, and then bring these guys front and center. Actually, I'm gonna clean up my mess first. I made a mess. I'm probably not going to have enough clear, so that's going to be a thing too. We'll get as far as we can, and then I probably won't make you guys sit through just me pouring clear. So we'll get one done so you can see kind of how the coasters are going to be domed, and then I'll just pour the rest off camera so I don't torture you all with that. All right, let's do this one together, and then I'll fight through the rest of them. And with this, I'm gonna, ooh, I still had glue on my finger. I'm gonna pull out one of my tools, silicone tools, like little silicone brushes, and so I can very gingerly start working this resin around. Oh, and that coaster holder is turning out really awesome, by the way. It is looking really good. I hope it comes out. I hope these coasters come out as good as the holder. Wouldn't that be funny? No, then I would be scrapping this whole footage and giving you guys a whole different video. So that's not very funny. Okay. Now these I will not spritz the top with alcohol. It is 99% alcohol. Doesn't typically leave a residue, but with coasters doing a final top clear coat on anything, I get paranoid. I've had such mixed luck with top coats. And I think the reason for that is that the humidity out here, because it is summer, it is Florida, so the humidity out here has been really tough to get a hold of, like get control of. So I finally, Mikey, when he was in town, put in another dehumidifier for me out here. So I have two running out here. I have one over by the cricket table. The air conditioner, the new one, also has a dehumidifier kind of built into it, so that's nice. And then I have the main one over here on this side with me, and I set each of them to dehumidifiers. I set them to 50%, but so far I've been able to keep, like right now I have like a little thing. I recommend this for you guys who are working in like your little art studios, is get yourself like a temperature and humidity monitor thingy. And as you can see, like right now we got 39% humidity, which is amazing, and 74 degrees. So I try to go like around 75 degrees. It is getting dark outside right now. So the temperature likes to drop a little bit, but I have the air conditioner set for 75. So you got to keep your humidity low, your temperature in the mid 70s, and that keeps you from getting the amine blush on your pieces, which is that kind of that funky foggy layer. It looks like your resin's wrinkled in the middle. And if you have your humidity set right, as long as your resin is mixed and your temperature is good, typically you won't get the amine blush. Some resins are better than others, and some are, it's almost time for a different lighter. Some resins are better than others, but typically as long as you monitor your temperature and your humidity level, you will not get the amine blush. So, and that's why I'm not spritzing this with alcohol, because I just don't want there to be like a weird amine blush layer on this, because you know I want my coasters to be nice and clear on top. Yeah, the amine blush is not part of the design. I was working on another video for you all while my brother and my sister were in town. I was working on a video, and it was like going to be really cool ship's wheel coasters, and I had humidity issues in here and got a huge amine blush, and I just did it again. Do not get that on your thing. I had really bad amine blush. So what I had to do is I had to put the coasters on my belt sander, belt sand them down, and start afresh, start anew. That was a pain. I decided that I was like, you know, I filmed the whole rest of the video to show you all my cool ship coasters with the wood in them, and I just scrapped the whole video because the blush was so bad. The sanding process was so tedious, and I was like, you know, these aren't gonna happen. This isn't gonna happen. Okay, so what I'm looking for is I'm making sure, and I think I'm going to do one more little drop in here. I want to slightly dome these, and so in doming your pieces, what you're doing is you're using the surface tension of the resin to actually go slightly above the edge of the mold without spilling over. So I'm babysitting bubbles. So that's what you're trying to get. And what that does is it gives you, instead of that lip being on there, like you can sometimes get on your pieces, you can get that lip that comes up the side because of the shrinkage of the resin. You won't have that, because then it's a whole nother thing. You have to trim and you have to somehow make your edges look nice. But if you dome, it's not such a big deal. And with these, we still might, you know, I still might treat the edges and stuff anyway, but at least we won't have a sharp edge that will have a yucky trim line on it. I don't want a yucky trim line. It's easier when you can just spritz them with alcohol. And I did put this through the debubbler, by the way. Now with 4-hour fast cure, the Resiner's debubbler does not pull a hard enough vacuum to actually get the bubbles out. You actually have to use a vacuum chamber, the big one. And that's, you know, that's unfortunate, but you just have to bust out the big boy for this, because 4-hour fast cure is so much more viscous. Try not to overheat. You can't overheat the resin either. You will scorch it, and it will leave funky yellow marks. Or I guess on these coasters you probably couldn't even tell because of the color of the coaster, but anyway, so I just don't like overheating it where it smokes. And I hope we will not have to do a top coat on these, like a final out of the mold top coat. I hope. I'm going along this edge, and what I'm looking for when I go along this edge is sometimes the resin will buckle at the edges, and I don't want that either. Guess I'm just being too fussy. Oh yeah, also, if you're spraying, so if you've domed your piece and you spray with alcohol, what also can happen is you'll lose the surface tension and everything will just start blobbing over. So let's try problem child number 2. And we're getting shy on resin. So like I said, I'm gonna start pouring this, and you guys you saw how I did that one. I'm going to be doing this on repeat 3 more times. It's a little bit of a pain, but this is the part that matters. This is your top coat, so take your time with it, and I will see you guys on the flip side for demold. Bye now. Okay guys, so everything is ready for demold. It's all cured and cooled. I've let it sit overnight. As you can see, I mean, you might be able to see it's daylight outside now. So we've let this sit overnight. And this is what I ended up doing with my extras. So we're going to make some keychains out of these, because I always make keychains with my extras. That way I can send them out with my orders. So, and that came out really these came out really pretty. Actually, so normally you'd use the bottom. I think I'm going to stick with the top on this one, and these are going to get little decorations on them. The clear resin we had left over from doing our top coats for the coasters, I added just some blue shimmer to them, and we're going to make those into some oceany keychains. So there's that one, and I won't hold up all of these and some of them they do need some trimming on these. So there's those. This one was just some extra resin I didn't want to cure in my cup, so that's actually not going to get made into anything. Yep, these just need a little bit of trimming. Yep, it's so thin I could actually do it with my fingernail, but I'm not gonna continue to do that because actually that could hurt. Nothing like getting a piece of resin up your fingernail. All right, so here are our coasters. Now, I mean, there's no big reveal on these except for maybe the bottom, but this is how they came out. And again, just picking some of this extra off that was on the top. Okay, and we got no sharp edge around the sides, which is good. That means I can just doll them up and not have to worry about trimming. Let's see, what is the bottom? Okay, well, nothing totally remarkable, but it's pretty. It's pretty. And there's this one. Let's see, which one was our problem child? I'm trying to figure it out now. Okay, so it's this one. So we'll do that one last. That one was our problem child. Okay. Clean up my molds after we get done here. And we have a slight change of plan for our next project. We are going to make some beachy coasters for an order that I just got this morning. So we're going to go ahead and make those on film. And I'm going to reach out to the buyer and see if he or they want to do something different with them. So if they want, you know, darker colors or whatever they ordered off of my eBay store, which I will put in the links down below and up on screen. So if you guys are interested in any kind of pieces like this, or I have like 60 different items in there, so go check it out. Go check out my eBay store. I think my prices are really good, and see if you find something in there that you like. Or if you want to customize a particular piece, there's my Facebook group as well. And you can send me a Facebook message on our Facebook group and then tell me exactly what you want, and I'd be happy to make it for you. And I might even do it on camera so you can see it made in person. Well, kind of in person, you know what I mean. Yep, just a little knockoff of these little edges, which is fine. So there's, and let's see, our problem child came out pretty good. The edges are actually smooth. Like I said, I do need to do just a tiny bit of trimming on these edges, but nothing big. And I think those came out really nice. Yeah, the backs are all about the same. So trying to decide, do we so I think we're going to put cork on the back of these because they're not so remarkable that I would just put the little pads on. If it was something really special, you know, looked really cool, I would just put the pads on so you could enjoy both sides. But these are just kind of, you know, just kind of swirl, so nothing major. All right, so there's the, and this is the base. Let's see how the base came out. I'm kind of excited to see this. With this wood piece on here, you can't really see the sides. So I'm curious to see what the sides and everything else came out looking like. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty easy to unmold too. Oh, that came out pretty. Look at that. Getting a sneak peek here. Sometimes I put water, soapy water down the edges, but this one did not seem to require that, so that's good. me put that back in its form. Okay, so let's see. Look at that. So I think I have wax on my table or something. I keep picking it up. So that's how they go on. There's the set, and we'll put the cork behind here, and trim these up. So what I need to do is let me get out my knife and my accessories that are going to make up these things, and I'll get right back to you. All right, see you in a few. Say hi to everybody, Willie. Say hi. Quick hellos, quick hellos, quick hellos. All right. So I've got out my items in order to finish off some of these pieces, and I just need to grab one more thing that I'm trying to locate. You guys ever sleep wrong and you get up and you're like, oh man, my back hurts? Well, that's my day today. So my back is like really bothering me today. So if I grunt and groan a little bit, we'll call it age-itis. And I've had 2 back surgeries, so it's a thing. It can happen. Today's one of those days. I think I got a little too crazy with my sleep number bed. But anyways, aside from all of that, I just wanted to explain some of my noises I've been making. So I got out my jewelry kit, and if any guys are watching and happen to say, hey, that looks just like my fishing tackle kit. Well, it is, because I've put all my fishing tackle in another container that I use when I go out on my kayak and go fishing. So yes, these are fishing tackle kits, and I've used it for all my little bits and bobs that I use to make all my jewelry and my wire, because sometimes I have to make my own jump rings. So I have those out and ready to go. And I also brought out my keychains, and I've already pulled out 2 gold. So this is going to be a gold, and these are could be keychains, or these could be purse charms. So one or the other. So I pulled out my gold ones, and those are going to be for the white and gold. And then I pulled out 2 purse charm rings for my or these keychains for my these items right here. 2 silver ones for that, and then 2 purse charms for the other 2. So, and then I got my tassels out so that we can pick our tassels that are going to go on these keychains, and I was gonna look and see. So, oh, and I also pulled out the sticker book I got from Temu. It's like coffee shop related, and there's a bunch of different little stickers in here. And I thought that would look cute on these gold keychains, just something fun, coffee related. Let's see. The bitterness and sweetness of coffee lies entirely with the drinker. Hey, that's kind of true. I don't use the ones with the people. I don't use people in my stuff, because I'd rather have the person that gets these keychains or gets my items think of themselves on that beach, or themselves in that coffee shop, or whatever the subject is. So I don't use the people, but I do like all the rest of the little stickers and stuff it comes with. So I was gonna see if I can find a cute one in here. I've been wanting to use these for quite a while, and I thought maybe this would give us an opportunity, but if I don't see anything, we're going with something else. And then for the blue ones, I pulled out my charms box, and I thought about putting a couple of charms on these. So I'm gonna finish these out, and I will show you at the end when they're all done, but now you know pretty much, you know, what I'm up to. All right, guys, so let's finish this video off. And we finished up all of our keychains. So I put like a little hand. Now these were all top coated with UV resin. They got tassels. You can put your keys on here, or you can clip them on to something. And did this one with a heart. Would help if I put them actually in camera. That'd be good, right? So there's that one. And then we have the heart. And then I thought that was cute. Keychain with a couple of keys on it. And it's got a blue tassel. And then I did our gold one. The sun. And there's the Tree of Life one. And finally, my favorite, kitty cat. So those are the keychains that came out of all the extras. And what I had to do with, I think it was this one, the UV resin actually covered up the hole. So if that happens, just get yourself like a little micro drill or something. Sometimes they come free in different sets, like the hand one. But it's just a little tiny drill that you can drill through and clean out the spaces to put your rings on and stuff, clean out the holes. So anyways, so that's those. And sometimes I put these out when I do art shows, and sometimes I'll throw them in with my orders. If the order's over a certain amount, I'll always put some freebie extras in with my orders. So that is that. You saw the coasters, and that is the video for this time. Now next video is going to be us making a set of rounded beach coasters. So that's going to be done with multiple layers. It's going to have shells and sand and very beachy. So come back for that. My eBay store and my Facebook page is down in the video links, or down in the links below in the messages. So check that out, and I hope to see you on the next round. Take care, everyone, and hope you have a very beachy day. Bye bye.